Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Trail of Cthulhu First Edition tabletop role-playing game rules by Pelgrane Press. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this show may include mature themes and scenes. All content, including names, places, events, and so forth, which may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or eldritch, is strictly coincidental. My name is Rena Henze, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your keeper, Keeper Rena. My pronouns are they, them, and I welcome you to another episode, another prelude campaign series, Silver Screams. I have a wonderful player with me tonight to introduce their character, but before we do that, I would like to say thank you to all of you, the listeners, and especially to you, the Patreon supporters. We couldn't do any of the things we do without your support, and we are grateful for you. If you'd like to see what else we have to offer on our Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. And now let's get to our introduction for the evening. To my right.
Hi, my name is Courtney Lee, and my pronouns are she, her. And I will be playing Sophia Reed, who also uses she, her pronouns. I'm playing a seamstress.
Fantastic. I can't wait to see what Sophia gets up to. All right. So once again, we bring the camera into a dusty and very, very warm June evening in 1936, Hollywood. It has been a long day, Sophia. Filming just wrapped today on The Devil's Locket, an 1800s detective fiction story here at Avalon Studios on Lot 1. And now that the filming is over, you have been rushing through, taking off people's costumes, putting things away, doing mending, and all sorts of things you need to do to ensure that the costumes are ready for whatever the next period piece is in this time frame, because Avalon Studios is not one of the big five. You're an indie studio. You don't have as much money as the main studios do, and you have to reuse costumes quite a bit. So it has been your job to make sure that things are mended, that they are cleaned properly before getting put away. Especially, there was a scene where someone got very dirty today. That was Lilith St. Cyr, one of the supporting actresses, who got all dirtied up, and now her dress is a mess, and you've had to clean it and set it out to dry. And now we find you in the costumes room with Lynn Marsola, who is one of the other seamstresses here. She's a Hispanic woman, and she's working on mending someone's costume. And you are working on taking the costume pieces from Henry Dawlish, who is the leading man. He is a white man, tall, angular features, piercing brown eyes, very straight hair, and he's English. I will not be attempting an English accent, just as a disclaimer. And he's known for being a little bit on the difficult side, let's say. The phrase, "well, Henry," is a common refrain that is heard when anyone is speaking about his temperament or things that he needs or things that he wants. So you are working on taking his costume pieces and putting them away, because Lynn is not allowed to work on the leading stars because of being a woman of color. So it is up to you to take care of those things when the head seamstress is not around. And so you've taken Henry's hat and put it away. He's handing you his coat right now, and he seems to be in a good mood for once. Maybe because the filming has wrapped. And so he takes off his great coat and hands it to you and says, "I hope you're having a good evening."
Yes. Thank you, Dawlish. It's been a wonderful experience working on The Devil's Locket, and you've been wonderful from what I've been able to catch in between what I do here. And she's folding the coat nicely and brushing off some of the day's dust and taking good care of the items, but keeping a respectful from Henry.
Yeah, he preens a little bit when you tell him he was doing a wonderful job. He's got this air of, well, of course, it's me, as he smiles benevolently at you. As what costumes did you make for this production, my dear?
Oh, well, I was working on Lilith's dress. I took some fittings in for her. Most of the designs have been from the head costumer, but I actually picked out the cufflinks that you wear, as well as we had to make some nice leather gloves for you, and I was allowed to work on those. I hope that they've been comfortable for you to wear.
The gloves fit wonderfully, thank you. And he passes them to you very gently. He gives them a look as if he wishes he could make off with them. But everything is very carefully accounted for here at the studio because it has to be.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm glad that you found them comfortable, Mr. Dawlish. Are you off for the evening?
Yes, I've got some dreadfully dull press thing to attend to this evening. Got to promote the film and all of that.
Well, I'm sure that the press is going to be eager to speak with you. You'll do a wonderful job promoting everything.
Yes, and Clarissa will be there, of course. You know, Clarissa Elliott, who is the leading lady in this film and in several others.
You and Clarissa make a fine-looking pair. They cast very well.
Yes, we have, and he narrows his eyes, chemistry, apparently.
Sophia smiles politely and downcasts her eyes and just busies herself, putting the gloves into a box.
There's an awkward pause for a moment, and he just seems to realize he's probably said more than he absolutely should have in your presence. And he flashes you that genial smile again, the one that gets him cast with his perfect, for the time, white teeth. And he takes his own hat and his own coat and puts them on and says, well, I suppose you'll be working on the next film as well, and we'll be working on, well, I suppose since you've already been working on some things for me, you'll probably be working on my clothes again. And and then he looks down his nose at you a little bit and says, my dear, there was a pin in my trousers. I'm not saying it was you, but this is completely unacceptable.
I'm terribly sorry. I'll make sure to go over things more thoroughly next time before handing you your garments. You deserve only the best, and we strive for it as well.
That's right, I do. Thank you, my dear, he says in the most condescending voice he can muster up. And he puts his hat on and he strides out of the room. And he carries a walking stick. It's an affectation. He does not need a walking stick, but it's got the carve, or the handle is shaped like a bear. And he's very proud of it, but everyone else privately thinks it's kind of silly. But off he goes, leaving you and Lynn putting away costumes. And Lynn puts a hand up and just starts laughing behind her hand.
Sophia leans just to make sure he's well out of earshot and gives just a forlorn look at Lynn and sighs deeply. I adore working with Mr. Dawlish, with a subtle, sarcastic tone.
Yes, he is a very interesting man. So much a man.
She looks around again, but really easy to distract if you compliment him.
Well, isn't that true of most men, dear?
It's very true.
She passes you a set of handkerchiefs that she's been pressing and getting ready to put in boxes. She passes them over to you and shakes her head and says, "I'm going to have to do some late night sewing, I think. Miss St. Cyr managed to tear the hem of her dress a little bit. I need to fix that. And there's some of the extras were not quite as careful as they should be. And, well, it's just going to be one of those nights."
If you'd like, I can stay and help you. I wouldn't mind at all. I know it's a lot of tedious work, and they are so careless sometimes with their costuming.
You'd think they thought we were made of money, that Mr. Radigan has nothing but money to pour into this studio. And Mr. Radigan, Edgar Radigan, is the head of the studio. He is the dilettante who pours the money in. You've never met him, but you have heard of him. And everyone speaks of him in sort of revered tones. So, but I know we've had to, and she leans in and says, "I'm going to be reusing the fabric from some of these for whatever our next film is."
Of course, it's still perfectly good. Why wouldn't we? No one needs to know any different.
She holds up a petticoat that has been ripped in so many places there is no saving it.
Well, a little bit of elbow grease.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we can get back into working order.
And she just shakes her head and says, young woman like you should be out having a good evening. Filming's over, and you should go out and have a good time, Sophia. I find it quite pleasant just sitting here on my own and stitching. You don't have to stay.
Oh, well, I'm happy to, but I would like to get out and catch a little bit of the last of the day's sun.
And you hear a "wouldn't we all" from behind you as the door to the costume room opens, and the form of the director, Evan Moore, pokes his head in. Evan is a big man, broad-shouldered, curly hair, an affable smile. He's generally a pretty nice person, though he's been very on edge for the last couple weeks with rushing to get everything filmed on deadline. But he seems a little bit more relaxed now, for obvious reasons. And he comes in. He's wearing a white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, no coat, no tie. He's got an ink spot on his face and on his fingers. He seems completely unaware of this, and he smiles at both of you and says, "Sorry to interrupt. I hope I'm not intruding on very important seamstress business."
Oh, no, all the pins have been collected. How are you doing, Mr. Moore?
Better now that the film is done, Miss Reed. Better now that the film is done.
Well, I'm quite proud to have been able to work on this project with you. It was quite a delight.
Well, that's why I dropped by, actually. And he looks at you and he looks at Lynn, and so I just wanted to congratulate both of you ladies on a job well done. I know you had to make a few of the costumes from scratch when we didn't have quite enough, and everything looked, well, as accurate as I think we can make it on a budget. And some of the little details, like those cufflinks that you chose for Henry, and the gloves were wonderfully fit to his hands. I noticed this. I have an eye for detail, and he taps the side of his nose. And Lynn, you did a wonderful job as well, working on Miss St. Cyr's dresses for this particular film. And well, just the costuming was delightful. I think we might even get noticed in the papers just for the costumery.
Oh, that would be such a compliment. Thank you so much. Of course, the characters are what bring the costumes to life, so without your work, they wouldn't shine nearly as brightly.
He smiles pretty broadly. Yes, well, that is part of my job, but I like to think of a movie studio as a living organism. All the parts have to work together for something to function. And it's not just the director, it's not just the actors, it's the makeup artists, it's the costumers, it's the lads who keep the horses, all of those things. It's everything working together, and I feel it's important to let you know when you've done good work.
Well, that's very appreciated, Mr. Moore. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I wanted to tell you, I know you're going to be working on the Western over in Lot 2 for the next couple of weeks. And he sighs, and Lynn sighs, because you've done a lot of Westerns. A lot. Westerns are pretty big right now, and they make a lot of money for the studio, so there have been many of them. And how many bandanas can you stitch before you lose your mind?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, of course. It'll be much fun, I'm sure.
He rolls his eyes slightly. Well, I'm not going to take you away from that very important work, but we are going right into working on the next film. The actors are getting the scripts tomorrow. At least the actors, I hope, will agree to be part of this project. And, well, I think it's going to be something... And he smiles broadly. It's kind of a charming smile, just how much his face lights up with genuine excitement. I think it's going to be something special. It's different. Not different as in no one's ever done it before, but different for us here at the studios, and something unique for us. And, well, I would love for you to put special attention, Miss Reed, into my film. I'd like for you to be the lead costumer for this next film. Your supervisor will be working on the Western for quite some time, and so I'd like you to put your special focus onto my film. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, because the actors have yet to accept, and I want to know that my vision is going to happen, but I think it will really challenge your skills. And I'll tell you, he leans in, and you can see Lynn on the other side of the room leaning in too, trying to look like she's not. It's going to be a horror film.
My goodness. Well, Sophia leans in close as well. I very much look forward to how we can delight the senses for everybody. And you flatter me greatly. Thank you so very much. Of course, I'm so happy to accept. I can't wait to work on this project with you.
It will give you a chance to stretch a little bit. Of course, the makeup artist will have quite a lot to do with the effects, and his eyes twinkle. He's a proud father at this moment, talking about his vision. He says, but there will be interesting things for you in the costumes department to do. And I see skill in you, Miss Reed. I see a vision, and I try to nurture that where I can find it. I know you haven't done lead costume designer on a film project before, but I want to give you this chance because I think you will excel.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Moore, and I will do my absolute best to make you proud of your choice.
I have no doubt you will.
Could you perhaps maybe not speak on the project, but who you're hoping to cast?
As well, of course, Henry, Mr. Dawlish, sorry, and Miss Elliot. And Miss St. Cyr, I'm hoping I've already spoken with her, and she seems quite interested in the project. And, well, there's a few others that I'm speaking to. I think it'll be quite a good cast.
Well, they make a stunning ensemble, and certainly have the talent to back up any project you put forward, I'm quite certain. And I already have all of their measurements.
He laughs, this deep, throaty laugh. Says, that's true. It'll save you a little bit of time and a little bit of effort, and we are all about saving time, because saving time saves money.
Absolutely.
So I will have you, of course, be working with the makeup department as you normally do, but it will be a little bit more of a close collaboration with makeup because of what you'll need to be doing for this film, just to make sure that the costumes and the makeup, especially for. And he smiles again. Oh well, that would be telling now, wouldn't it? But you'll have to make sure these things are in harmony, and to give that distinct sort of unsettling feeling. I know you'll do wonderfully, but make sure you're in close work with the makeup department, especially on this project.
Will it be Yvonne that's heading up the makeup?
Yvonne and Phoebe will be working on this. Yes.
Well, I am very excited to get to work with them closely.
All right. Well. And he glances over at Lynn and then goes slightly awkward in his body language as he realizes he's been talking to you with another person in the room and he completely forgot she was there. Says, Miss Marsola, yes, Miss Marsola. It would be, of course, it would be. Yes, of course you'll be working with us as well as part of the costumes department.
That I can't wait to work with Lynn. Again, she's keeps me sane.
Whatever we can get in this crazy little corner of the city. Who goes into entertainment business and expects to stay sane? I don't know. And he laughs.
Everybody is always so busy. How do they have the time? You are quite right. Well, I do hope you also have a good evening. Are you partaking in the press tour that Mr. Dawlish and Miss Elliot are off doing?
Oh, no. I've got other people to speak to. I have to check in on the sets being taken down, and I have to finish my script rewrites before the scripts get sent out to the actors tomorrow. Director's work is never done. I will be attending some of the press conferences and events and so on a little bit later, but not tonight. Thank you for inquiring.
Yes, just before you step out, you have a bit of ink on your cheek.
He puts his hand up and looks at the ink splotch that now is dabbed on his finger. Oh, thank you. I never would have noticed that. That's what happens when you don't have a wife at home to tell you when your appearance isn't quite up to standard. And he chuckles.
Well, it's a sign of hard work. Well deserved.
Well, thank you for pointing that out. I will go take care of that immediately. Don't stay up too late. You don't need to come in as early tomorrow since we're not working on this film anymore and the Western is still in pre-production. But come in around 8.
Wonderful. I'll be here.
All right. Thank you, Miss Reed. Miss Marsola. And he nods his head and he steps out of the room very vigorously. The door kind of slams. He has this energy about him. He doesn't seem to notice what he does to furniture and to doors.
Sophia starts a little bit anytime he bustles about. Well, that'll be good fun, I think. I don't know that I necessarily deserve it, but I'm not going to say no.
Lynn smiles broadly, and she comes over and she takes your hand if you let her. And she says that this is wonderful. This is going to be so good for you. Oh, I can't wait to see what things you come up with now that you're going to be able to just do what your imagination wants you to do.
I am excited about it. And I'm really quite grateful that you'll be there as well.
Yes, well, I will lend you my advice. Yes, is the word. Whenever you need it. But the design work you did for the extras and for Miss Saint Cyr on the Devil's Locket were really quite lovely. I'm sure you're going to do very, very well.
Thank you very much, Lynn.
God be with you.
And she smiles and nods. It doesn't necessarily return the sentiment, but she accepts it. Thank you.
Now, go and have some fun with your evening. Go. You shouldn't be cooped up in here all night with me. I'll be fine. I will sit here and I will stitch, and it will be quiet, and I won't have to deal, hopefully, with too many people.
Well, I would assume that most of the more challenging individuals have already left the building, so you should have a peaceful evening. And Sophia puts on her hat and grabs her purse, does one last quick look around the room to make sure she's tidied everything up behind her, and smiles at Lynn and hurries out the door.
Okay. And as you hurry out the door, who do we see leaving the studio? Why don't you describe Sophia for us?
Yes. So Sophia is about 5'4". She's rather slim. Her clothes are a little bit ill-fitted. They're a size or two too big for her. And if you're looking closely, they show evidence of being hand-mended themselves. It's a lovely light blue dress with some white polka dot flowers adorning it. She has a bit of a mess of light brown curly hair that she does her best to keep out of the way, but it always manages to put a curly halo around her face. She has big, almost sad-looking, stormy gray eyes, and just like a very narrow features, pouty lips. And she always walks with a hurried pace, and without making it obvious, makes sure to give the people around her a wide berth to make sure that they have the space to walk in the direction that they are choosing to walk in. She makes sure that she's out of the way as much as possible.
Wonderful. All right, so you have walked out of the studio and you're headed out for the evening. Where would Sophia be going in the evening? Does she have a place she likes to visit? Does she go to see friends? Does she just go home? What is an evening like for Sophia?
I do believe, like she mentioned, she wanted to catch the last few moments of there being some sunshine. So she will find the quickest route to the nearest public beach, just so she can sit on the sand for a few moments and push her toes into the sand that's nice and cool and watch the ocean as the sun glitters off the waves and looks a little bit like starlight. And she'll pull out her sketchbook and she'll just start writing some journal notes about the day, and maybe offering or doing a few sketches of some people as she's walking by, just standout features of their expression and how they move and how their clothes tend to move around them, just gathering a little bit of inspiration. And then once the sun is fully set, she gathers up her things and she heads home to see her roommate, Marina.
How does Sophia get about? Does she have a car? Does she take a taxi? How does she get around?
If she can't walk it, she will find the least expensive method of transportation. Mm-hmm. So if that's not walking or hopping on a bus, in the most dire of circumstances, she will flag down a taxi. But she does try to save her money wherever she can. So
you take a streetcar, essentially, to get as close to home as you can. Do you live in an apartment with your roommate? Do you rent a room together in a house? What is your living situation?
I think they rent a room together in a house to save on some expenses. The other housemates are all relatively the same age, working in various different fields. Most of them are too tired to be very boisterous, which is nice. And I think they have like a nice, cozy little living situation. Neither one of them has too many personal belongings, so it's not a very cluttered space. But they get along quite well.
So you take the streetcar, and you don't live very necessarily super close to the streetcar because that would cost too much. So you have to walk about 15 minutes from your stop to get home. But it's a nice evening. It's still pretty warm. It's cooled off a smidge, but not too much. This is Southern California after all. It is still warm. But it's kind of pleasant, especially to stretch your legs and your back and get out, stay out. You had the fresh sea breeze for a little bit, and your body has started to forget all of the hunching over and the tiny stitches and your fingers having to hold the needles so tightly and everything that you had to do today. So it's a pleasant walk home for you. And you get to this little 2-story house. It's a nice home. It's a more recent build. It's not one of the older buildings that you see in some of the nicer parts of town, especially. But it's nice, and it's quiet, which is also very much appreciated. And you go through the door. Up to, well, that's a good question. Do you use the front door or do you use the side door, which would in older times be termed the servant's entrance?
I think Sophia would use the side door. Yeah, a quieter way to enter, not be so in the space of anybody else who's using the common areas. Just kind of likes to skirt around and be out of people's way. So I think she would use the side door.
Okay. So because you're using the side door, you manage to avoid your housemates, the people who actually own the home. And you take the staircase up to your room on the second floor that you rent with Marina. And Marina is home because it's after dark at this point. Why don't you describe Marina for us as you open the door and you see her sitting on her own bed? There's 2 beds in the room and a little nightstand for each of you, and the curtains across the windows have been drawn. You see her sitting on her bed with a book. Describe her for us.
Marina's a little bit older than Sophia, only by a couple of years, but sometimes that can make it feel like you have wisdom that is unattainable. She is warm and vibrant. Marina is a Latina woman, beautiful dark hair and brown eyes that scream of the richness of the land, a smile on her face always, and she herself isn't necessarily an excitable person, but when she speaks, she grabs attention with a very clear voice. She likes to wear color as much as she possibly can. She's probably a little bit bigger in size than Sophia.
Okay, so she looks up at you as you come in, and she smiles and her eyes light up, and she leaps off the bed and runs over to give you a big hug. She's a very affectionate person, very, very warm, as you've described. And she's, "Oh, you're home before 11? What magic is this?"
It was a quiet evening on the beach, and I managed to not find anything that took my attention for too long tonight, so I was able to make it home, and we got out of work. With it being the last day of production, we got to leave a little bit early, although poor Lynn decided to stay and mend the errors of the day.
From what I hear, Lynn works too hard.
Honestly, she really does, but I think she likes working at night when there's no one there to bother her.
Yes, isn't that the dream, being left alone to do the things you actually need to do?
Mm-hmm.
How was your evening on the beach? You didn't see any... No one took your attention?
No. But I think that made it better.
If you say so.
At least for tonight, it was lovely.
Marina has been trying to set you up unsuccessfully with various people for the last 3 months because she is concerned that you do not have enough of a social life and you spend too much time working. And she repeats this information to you on a regular basis. She means well, but...
Of course. Well, if I wasn't working so hard, then we might be late on rent, which would just be the worst.
Money. Who needs money? We do. But in a perfect world, we would not.
Correct. In a perfect world, we'd get by on our stunning good looks alone. And she winks at Marina.
Yes, you more than me. And she chuckles.
Hush. Absolutely not.
Well, it has been an interesting day, and you have probably been on your feet a lot. You should sit down.
Very well. And she kind of hops back into her bed, kicks off her shoes, which are a little bit the most impolite action she has made all day.
And Marina waves a piece of paper at you and says, I have heard from my mother, and my 5 brothers and sisters all send their best regards, and all of my nieces and nephews, and all of the cousins, and the aunts and uncles.
Gosh, what a joy to have such a big family.
She laughs and then groans. They're always, what is the expression? Up in my business?
Well, yes, I guess there is that. But they mean well.
They want me to come visit, and they said that you should come if you want to.
Oh, that would be lovely. Of course, if you want the company.
Oh, have you ever been to Mexico?
I have not.
Oh, you would love it. I really think you should come. Get some sun into that very pasty skin of yours.
I try, but I'm inside all day.
We can fix that.
What is it called? Oh, there was a neighbor back home. She would make it all the time. It's delightful, but it's cooked in corn husks.
Tamale?
Yes. Do you have a family recipe?
My mother makes the best tamales you have ever had in your life.
Wonderful. Well, you can write to your mother that I am very excited to try her tamale.
Perfect. And she pulls out pen and paper and says, I will write to them immediately.
Have fun.
And she starts writing with very vivid flourishes, and she puts her whole body into things when she's working, when she's writing, when she's cleaning, whatever she does, it's a full body movement for her. And it's kind of exhausting after a little bit to watch, but she's a very enthusiastic person, and she takes everything by both hands, essentially. So what do you do with the rest of your evening? It's about 10 p.m. by the time you've eaten dinner and settled in and taken a bath.
Yes, I think Sophia will take a moment to just clean and prepare her things that she'll need to leave. She's going to be at the studio for 8, which is nicer than what she normally has to be there for, but she'll still have to leave quite early to make sure she's there on time. So she tidies up her clothes and has a few more stories to hear about Marina's day, but I think she probably retires early and takes advantage of a moment to relax that she doesn't always get.
how does she relax? What is her method of relaxation? Does she read, write, put on a record, listen to the radio?
I think she skips the radio for this evening, and I think she takes out some pen and paper and she writes a letter. She writes a letter to Howard, which just describing everything about her day, the colorful people she's got to meet along the way, and all of the bright, exciting things that she's seen over the course of the time that since she wrote her last one. And as she's signing off on the letter, she gets a little bit sad and folds it up, tucks it into an envelope, and puts it in her dresser next to her bed that has a packet of other unsent letters to her brother.
It's cathartic, kind of, to write this letter, write it to someone else, not just in your journal, not just writing it to yourself, but it fills you with an immense sadness at the same time as you write, because deep down you're wondering if he'll ever read them. And then you banish that thought, because of course he will. He has to. He can't not read them.
She shakes her head and brushes out her hair, steadies her resolve, and then I think she gets cozy into bed.
You get into bed, you close your eyes. Your roommate has gone to bed at this point, turned out her light, and is snoring softly with her face to the wall. She's unaware that she snores and vociferously denies it if you ever bring it up to her. And you close your eyes and you let the exhaustion of the day just sort of flow over your body, and you start to feel warm and comforted, cozy under the blanket. And the world spins for a moment. There's stars all around you. These bright, beautiful stars. And you realize you're not in bed. You're standing in the dirt outside, but not in LA. It can't be. There's too many stars up above you. There's no street lights here. There's no lamps. There's no people with their car headlights or their torches or flashlights or any of those things. It's just darkness and the stars up above you. There's dirt under your feet, dust in the air, and you realize you know where you are. This is a very familiar place to you. You came here so often with Howard to look at the stars, to get away from whatever was happening inside your home. So often to get away from him. And you feel for a moment that same kind of adrenaline rush that you would feel when you fled the house holding your brother's hand, your father yelling or throwing things, you hearing the crash of a plate against the wall, hearing the invectives he would hurl at your mother, and your brother dragging you out of the house to get you somewhere where you could be away from him, where you could be safe. But Howard's not here.
Sophia looks around, kind of with that dream knowledge where you know something, but even in this dreamlike state, she doesn't want to believe it, so she's looking for Howard everywhere. Her hands feel empty without his, especially when behind her is something that's so familiar and awful.
And you look, and your hand sort of clenches reflexively because it should be clutching your brother's hand. And you feel the emptiness there. as solid as a hand, as solid as matter, that emptiness. And then you hear his voice, that well-loved, familiar voice. Sophia! Sophia, where are you? I can't find you. Sophia, where are you?
I'm coming, Howard. Keep talking. I'm going to follow your voice.
So cold, so alone, I need you. I need you. Sophia, please.
I'm coming, Howard. I'm coming to find you. Don't give up.
And you start running in the direction you think his voice is coming from. But you feel like it's almost like you're running in place because the vista around you doesn't change. Only the stars above you seem to shift places until you don't recognize them anymore. You don't see the Big Dipper up above you. You don't see any constellations you recognize. It's strange and unfamiliar, and you feel cold, and you still hear your brother's voice calling for you, but it seems like it's coming from all around you, and he is so scared, and he is so terrified and alone, and he doesn't know where you are, and you can't find him because your feet are moving, but you are not.
She starts to spin, closes her eyes because the stars aren't helping, and she's trying to listen even harder to see if she can hear his voice. And then if it doesn't give her a direction, she falls to her knees. And she is not a woman that prays, but she calls out to something beyond herself. Please let me find him. Please, please, I can't lose him too. I can't be alone. I need Howard. I can't be alone in this life. Please let me find him.
And with that prayer to whomever is listening, you wake up with a start, drenched in sweat. Your hair is soaked through, your pajamas are soaked through. You've got tears running down your face, and you're breathing heavily as if you've just been running. It's far more exertion than you've ever felt coming from a dream. And some part of you knows it wasn't exactly a dream. And that is where we will leave you for this episode. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Courtney, for joining us. I can't wait to see what happens with Sophia and the search for her brother. I'm sure it will be totally fine. Everything will be fine. Thank you all, and good night.